Hello everyone. If you selected option 2, the identity package, as your option for our first quarter 3 project, and you've created your logo and completed the planning assignment, then you're in the right place. So go ahead and keep watching this video. I'm going to show you how to use the templates in Photopea and how to open them in Photoshop and Illustrator. You can use any of those 3 programs, and I'm going to kind of go over what you're going to include and show you how these templates work. This will be a fairly brief video, but what I encourage you to do is take a look at some of these examples that I provided you, and maybe get a little inspiration. You can do things a little differently if you want. You can make it so your designs are tall instead of wide if you want. Totally up to you. Most business cards are left to right, kind of wide, but people also do tall ones. In fact, my business cards are tall, and if you'd like to look at them for an example, you may as well. Anyways, the project itself, any business card is about giving people contact information, so you're going to need to include some information about who it is that you are doing the business card for, whether it's yourself or it's a character you made up, or whoever else. And you're going to include your the name of the person that the business card belongs to, a job title. So if it was me, it'd be teacher. Email address, website. Usually some sort of phone number. The address isn't always necessary. If it's an online business or something where the person doesn't really have a store location or need people to know their address, they might not include that. So that's kind of optional, and I'll even put that in there. Now, if you're doing this for yourself and you don't want to include any of this personal information, you're not required to. I just created this project so that it could be useful to you if you want to include it. But if you don't want to include it, that's up to you. You can make up all this information, but you have to make it up. You have to have something in there if it's for yourself. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you the template. And there's some grading down here that shows you how it's graded and all that. But I want to show you the template in Photopea really quick. So if I right-click on business card template that says business card Photoshop and Photopea, open link in new tab, and then hit the download button. You can already see how this is set up. And I'm going to go ahead into Photopea, go to File, Open, and then I need to go to my downloads where I downloaded the business card to. And you can see how it is here. And now there is a feature in here that I'm using in, I have it in the Photoshop template as well. So if you're going to be working in Photoshop, listen to what I'm telling you about Photopea, because I'm not going over it for Photoshop because it's the same thing. But as far as the front and back of a business card go, I have what's called smart objects. And what those are in this case, you can double click on the part of the template you want to work on, and it will open it in a separate tab as its own little window. And so I can go ahead and put in here my information. I'm not going to put in a whole lot. I just want to show you as an example. I'm going to put in Mr. Jeter, and usually you want to kind of things you want to stand out, like a name and stuff like that, you might do a little bit bigger. And I obviously don't want to use the default boring font here, so I'm going to choose something different here. I'll do this, and I'll change the color to something else. You can also change the background color, of course, which I'll do that as well. So I'll just change it to blue. And you'll just use the tools that you've been learning about. And I can also edit free transform to make it even bigger. And so I want that to stand out. And then I would add in my other information like teacher. And I might make that a little smaller. And I might change up the font and do something where it's not, weird fancy standout display font for everything else. So I'll just do Aileron for now. I probably would pick something even nicer than that. But then I go ahead and put in my other information, email address. Now, I also encourage you to consider other choices besides just doing a plain one color background. You could do a gradient, you could do a texture, you might even include a photo. I could put a photo of myself in here or something like that. But as I'm working on that, when I'm done, if I go to File, Save Smart Object, and then close out of this tab that I've been working in, you'll see it automatically updates. And then the other side of the business card, the back side, I might do something like just include my logo, which you need to include your logo somewhere in your design. So for that, I'll go ahead and double click, and I will go ahead and I'll put in the color again. And in the interest of time, I'm just going to grab the school's logo, or I'll open that up. File, open. You'll have to open it in a separate window if you're working with, Photopea, because you can't just drag and drop. So if I have it in here, I can go Select All, Edit, Copy, and then I can go into here and go Edit, Paste. Now, if you're working with a PSD, you're going to want to do Edit, Copy, Merged, because it will copy all your layers together. And I also want to free transform this to make it fit. So I'll do that really quick and bring it back in here. So let's just say that this is one side of my business card and the information goes on the other. And then again, I just go to File, Save Smart Object, Save Smart Object, remember that, and it will automatically update in my business card template tab. And then if I just go to File, as I'm working on this, I highly encourage you, when you're working on your business card design, to go ahead and save frequently and upload your work in progress at the end of any class period to your Google Classroom, just in case something happens with your Chromebook and you can't find your work. So that's pretty much what you guys are going to be doing for this. Now I'm going to go ahead and open it in the other two things and just talk a little bit about it, but I don't really need to go too much more into this to show you guys how this works, since I already showed you in here. Illustrator is going to be a little different, but let me go ahead and open up in Photoshop. Here's the same template, and just like I said before, you can double click on the little icons on the layer in order to access the different parts of it. So I just opened up the, I believe it's the front, maybe it's the back, I don't know. And it doesn't really matter which you open, because the front and back, is relative. Your front might have your logo, your back might have your logo. Your front might have your information, your back might have your information. For my own design, I have my logo on the same side with my information. And I also have, on my other side, I have just usually some of my artwork, because I use my business cards to kind of advertise my art. So that's the Photoshop one. And if I go back into Classroom, I'll go ahead and pull up the Illustrator one really quick. So if I right click, open link in new tab, right click, open link in new tab, and then download that. I'll show you Illustrator real quick. You'll see Illustrator. I actually made it so you could do it all directly in Illustrator. In Photoshop, we'll have to do some work, and you can ask me some questions about that if you want to do yours all inside instead. But I gave you both a landscape option and a portrait option. And you do your design directly on here. There's no smart objects in Illustrator with this, okay? So there you go. That's the project. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a good day.